hope you all are doing good. So today we are going to do a lab on web fundamentals. So today the lab is simply focused on how the different kinds of methods are there, what are the requests, what actually happens when we open our browser, what actually happens when we make a call. So it's a fundamental level about what's happening inside, what is cookies, what is flags, what is headers. So all this terminologies, all this stuff we'll see in practical. We'll try to understand this. So if you are already aware of all this, you can just skip on to the next lab. Otherwise, please stay on it and let's get started. Okay, so before discussing about the task, we are not connected as of now. So this is let me just get connected first. So open a terminal here, sudo open vpn Dpoint and password. Okay, so we'll wait for sequence completed and we are good here. Let me just refresh this and we are not connected yet. Let me check if I am logged in into the correct only profile. Yes, I am. No, it was not refreshed properly. Fine. So first thing first, let's read this thing. So we'll cover HTTP request and response, web servers, cookies, and then we'll put them in a mini capture the flag at the end. So if you can see the final step, that is mini CTF. So if you don't know what is CTF, it's just instead of treasure we need to find flags. So in the treasure end, it's like find the flag in the code. That's the CTF means catch the flag. Okay, so we'll cover all this. Okay, and how do we load websites? So it basically says that instead of typing the IP addresses in the URL and then going for any website, which we cannot because those are numericals. So basically we enter some names, variables like google.com and internally. So this google.com is nothing but domain name. Okay, so once we enter the domain name, it internally converts them into a IP address in this format, that is octet 4 times. Okay, so then it will load some content and so if it a normal website, it will simply bring back the response. But for now, for currently, if we see any good website or any stylish website, there is multiple scripts, multiple style sheets and multiple other files. So along with that we'll get multiple files. So in the response you can see that we have different for a single call we'll be getting multiple responses. So we will look into this in detail in the practical in the coming task. But for now, how do we see what are the requests we are making, what are the responses we are getting? So for that we have huge number of tools. Wireshark is one of them, Verbs is one of them, and even with the terminals also we can see that. But let's not divert into some other topic. So let's focus on this. Okay, so once the browser knows the service address, yeah, this all we know. So when you're doing google.com, right, when we are simply doing google.com, what is happening, it basically, if you can see, https is added. Okay, but this is added because google.com is running on https, that is secure http protocol. So previously we used to go with the http, but http in the encrypted format is known as a secure http, which is nothing but https channel. So what this here it is saying is, by default, if it is running on http, we can say the default port is 80, but if it is https, then it is 443. And that's it, nothing else. Okay, so what request verb is used to retrieve the page content? So we have too many methods. Okay, like get, post, put, delete, and a number of other methods. So to simply fetch something, we go with the get request. So what is meant by verb here? So if we can see, if we'll see some example somewhere. Okay, so we will be using, okay, let's see here. So if you can see, get / online http 1.1. so what is happening, we are mentioning the verb and then we are mentioning the path. So that's the format. Okay, so what is the verb used to receive something? Receive, so that is nothing but get. So submit. And what port do web servers normally listen on? So if it is an http, it is 80. If it is an https, then it is 443. So that is a default thing. If instead of 80 you want it to run on something else, then we have separate tools or command lines or set of packages. The technique is called as port shifting. Okay, so what port do web servers? Yeah, 80. What's responsible for making website look fancy? So we know that it is CSS, cascading style sheet. It is only meant for styling. Okay, so we are good with this. Now coming to task 3. So there are 9 HTTP verbs. Okay, so get is one of them. Okay, now HTTP can be broken down into the first line is a verb and the path of a server. So get is a verb, then path of the server. Next we have headers. So given the web server name, finally the body of the request. Okay, headers, body, and whole lot of things. From the header you can tell what I perform the request from Chrome version 80. Okay, so this is the URL and this is the complete headers. Okay, so from this whatever we are able to understand, that is what I explained here. Next we have a response. If you can see, whenever we make some response, we will get a status code, like what is happened with the request that I made. So the status codes will be in some ranges. So 100 to 199 is information, 200 to less than 300 is success, 300 to 399 is redirect. Now each one of them is having a valid status code. Now as soon as we get 302, 303, and if we don't know, we can Google it. There's nothing to remember. Okay, so 400 to 499 is client errors. So just these kind of 2-3 keywords we need to understand, but not 401, 402, everything. Next we have 500, 599 is server errors. So most probably we see 500 internal server error. That's fine, nothing, no need to remember anything. Okay, so you can see this is a sample kind of status code. What verb would be used for a login? So basically when we are trying to log in, what we will do, we'll go username, password, and any other third attribute if it is asking. So we are passing some body along with the URL or along with the call. That means it is a post call. Okay, so submit. Okay, so if you don't know what are all these calls, get is usually to fetch something, post is usually to send something for the first time, put is something for modifying the existing data, delete is something for deleting. So these 4 are most popularly used. Apart from this we have other stuff like head and some other things, but we don't usually use them. So if we come across any such request, we can discuss about it in detail. Okay, what verb would be used to see the bank balance? So it's just a get me the balance, that's it. So it's a get request. Okay, submit. Does the body of a get request matter? So get does not have a body. So even if you pass something, it does not have any effect, because the server is not expecting a body from a get request. So even if I pass, it is of no use for the server, because it is either way it is not going to consider. So submit this. And what's the status code? I am a teapot. So if we continue to use like various status codes when we get something, then we, like if I'm getting unauthorized, okay, so what status code would you get if you are authenticated to some content and you are unauthenticated? So if I'm trying to access some resource and I get unauthenticated, so for that we have a status code 401. Similarly, like 401, instead of 401 we can also say unauthorized status code. Similarly, every status code is given a one name. Similarly, I am a teapot is also one thing. You can say I am a teapot is to authenticated, then what is to 401. So if I copy this, I simply go to Google and I search for this, and what is this mean for? So it's a status code 418. So what is this I am a teapot? That is not something that we are going to discuss here today, but it's something that related to cookies, and the server is saying that I am not going to accept it, something of that sort. But uh, that is not the exact thing. So we can have a separate demo on discussing some top level or the very common kinds of status codes, but not in here. Okay, so this is 418. Submit, and we are good with the task 3. Now going to task 4. Cookie taste tasty. Okay, so what are cookies? So basically when at this point of time when I'm doing this YouTube, or when I'm using this YouTube, or when I'm using tryhackme, there are thousands, crores of other people who are using the same point. And we also know that HTTPS, or whatever the request or communication between the server and the client is happening, it is stateless. So stateless means every time when you like once you log in and then you try to call server, it does not know, okay, who is calling, whether he is already logged in or what. So whenever I am communicating with the server, I will be passing some headers or some cookies, some sessions along with my actual request. So based on those cookies, the server will be able to identify that who is the person, what is the session, what is his status. Like if I'm using let's say Flipkart, okay, then I have 10 items in my cart. So the 10 items in the cart is nothing but stored in a cookie or a session variable. So whenever I'm making a call to, whenever I'm trying to communicate to the server, based on this cookies, it will be able to identify my state. So it's not that server is maintaining the state, that's why we call it as a stateless. But since I'm passing my current state along with the request, it is giving me the proper response that is required. Okay, so the cookies, one example is the session maintenance. Okay, the cookies is created in n number other ways. It can be created customly by the end user. It can be created by the JavaScript running or the client side that is on my browser. It can be created by the server using some headers. It can be created in n number of other ways. Okay, now okay, so this cookies things we are going to use in the mini CTF. That's where we can understand more clearly. Okay, so completely okay. Alternately useful to know slowly for user local storage. Yes, so what we can say is, like if I simply click on F12 or if I click on inspect element, okay, let me just close this as an unnecessary thing. So since I clicked on inspect element, or even I can click on F12, that is a shortcut key, and if I go to the storage, okay, so you can see cache, storage, cookies, index db, all these things are there. Now based on the requirement of the interface or the website, it can either create anything in my local storage, in my social storage, and index db. All these things are used for different purposes. Okay, but for the scope of this video, we will stick to something called cookies. Okay, now if I click on cookies, I can add, I can remove, I can modify, I can update, I can do all kind of CRUD operations. Okay, so that is something. Okay, and this thing that you are seeing, this is known as DevTools, if you don't know already. Okay, so let's get back to our topic. That is the final thing, task 5 mini CTF. Okay, so first thing we need to do is deploy. Now here, let me just open a new thing and let me just check I have config. So here I am seeing tunnel 1. Now since I am having two tunnels, tunnel 0 and tunnel 1, I might have some problem in making use of it. So we'll try to use the lab, and if we face some issue, then we'll come back. So basically, if you can see, if I scroll to top, this is something, a tunnel address is given to me, and if I check my tunnel 0, 10.9.205.177, this is assigned to me. Now when I'm communicating, the tryhackme will get confused whether it is talking to tunnel 1 or tunnel 0. Okay, so the IP address are different, so it should not be of any conflict, but in case if it is same, it should be of conflict. So for now, let's stick to this and let's try to solve it. If not, how to resolve it, what is the issue, what is the conflict, how to delete a tunnel, all those things we will study if we face any problem. Okay, but for now, let me just clear this, and I need to wait for 13 more seconds to get the IP address. So here what is it saying is, so whatever the get call, post call, whatever things we are doing, we can do everything from I can say by using curl. Okay, so instead of using a postman, instead of using a SOAP, different tools, or instead of using a browser to make a what I can say, a get call, or using any online tools which helps us to make a post call to our like all these things are available. But apart from that, if we are using any programming and we want to make a call inside from the script or from the terminal, we can use something called curl. Okay, now we have this IP address. Let me open this. Yeah, cd, and we have web fundamentals. I did not created any mkdir web fundamentals. Okay, now cd web and touch nodes. Okay, so let's create one nodes, and then let's open this. Just make a note of everything. So tunnel IP is something that we will make a note of, and then the deployed machine, or I can say remote host. Okay, the tunnel IP is nothing but my local host, so let's stick to this. Remote host is nothing but this one. and then let's clear out everything. And yeah, so let's just try to hit this. So curl, by default, if we don't give any method, by default method it considers as get method. So if we simply, if control shift V, you can see we got the complete website in the response. So this is just to show how the curl works. So let's clear this, and then we have something called, there's a web server, just connect to it and get all the flags. So we simply need to run this, copy curl, control shift V. So here I'm not mentioning any method explicitly, so by default it considered as though I'm making a get call. Let me enter this. So I'm getting some this seems to be a HTML content. So we can also try to see the response in the browser. Okay, so it basically says to get the flags I need to make all this 4 call, get, post, and all the calls. Okay, so what's the get flag? To get the get flag, I think I need to make a call to this, control C. Okay, let me just copy everything. For flags call. Okay, now I simply need to make a get call to ctf get. So I got first flag. Okay, so let me just clear the screen, and in the note sections I can say with this I got flag this, and let's submit this, close and submit, yes. Okay, now what's the post flag? So to make a post flag we need to call what? Let me open Sublime. I need to call ctf post. So in the curl, if I go, this is how I was making a get call, right? Now I need to tell that hyphen next, my method is post, and then this is my URL was control shift, this is the URL, and finally I have to say is there any data, what's the post flag? Okay, so make a post request with the to ctf post with the body flag please. So I need to make a call in this manner. So what I can do is I need to tell that there is a argument called data. I hope this is visible. Let me zoom in a bit. Now it is visible, I hope. Okay, so let me just zoom in a bit. So what I'm going to pass now is my data, and this is the data. So hit now. So I got one more flag. So I simply made a post call with the data called flag please. Okay, control shift C, and I can say that the flag for this was this, and let me just add it here also without the space, submit. And now what's a get cookie? So to get a for this third thing, what they are saying is make a get request to ctf get cookie and check the cookie that server gives you. So I simply will make a call, control C. Let me copy this completely. Like, since it is a get request, I'm making it in a browser, but we can also call it in a terminal. Okay, so where is this ctf get cookie? So let me come here, and before making a call I need to focus on getting the cookie. So let me just open my storage. Okay, and I'll stick to cookies, and I'll make a call, and it's saying check your cookies. So in the cookies I can see there is a variable called flag, and its value is something called thm, some gibberish value. So let me say that this is the value that I got by calling the third. So here if I go and if I give the flag, save, submit. Okay, we are good. Now what's the set cookie? So here what it is saying is set a cookie with the name flag please and the value also flag please in your DevTools and make a get call. So I need to create a cookie and then I need to make a call, then I'll get a flag, as simple as it is saying. So I'll come here, and what is the call that it is asking me to call? ctf send cookie. So let me just replace this, and before making a call only a single slash is required. Before making a call I need to create, I'll click on plus, and then I need to say flagpls flag please, and value also flagpls. Okay, Now I have created a cookie called flag please, flag please. If it is not visible, let me just zoom in a bit. I hope now this is visible. I don't need this. Let me zoom in a bit more on this thing. Okay, now it is visible. Flag please, flag please. Now since I set it this, now I need to hit the send cookie. Okay, so because I have created this variable and then I am making call, I got one more flag. So this I got based on the last call. So the overall intention for this task was to help us understand what is cookies and what is all these different kinds of calls and what is status code, headers, response, and all this stuff. So let's try to give this last one and submit. So yeah, that was all about the basic web fundamentals. So let's see what could be the next things. So if I go to learn, let me close all the unnecessary things. And you see we were doing the labs under the web hacking fundamental. So if I open this, we have done something called web fundamentals. So then we'll try to understand a concept bit by bit more. I hope you found my explanation interesting. If you understood the concept and you didn't know previously, now you understood, please do subscribe, share with people who are new to this domain, and mention any of your experience or any of the concept that you would love to know, and I would definitely try to make a demo on that. So that's all for today. Practice as much as possible, and thank you.